ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to today's episode of the Do It Now Show. I'm Dr. Christopher Vogelman. So we're doing it now. We're talking about social media, how to keep up with all those platforms. And with me, as always, actually, John Paduchek's down below. He's remote location. And speaking of remote locations, Dr. Kayvon Kay is in space.
Yes, I'm calling you from the Hubble telescope today.
You're in the telescope?
Hubble telescope.
Hubble. Oh. That's Hubble trouble. Hubble trouble.
Hubble trouble.
Trouble with Hubble.
Now, where are you? You're at a beach or something.
I am at Hampton Beach State Park.
So that's not the Hamptons in New York.
Not the Hamptons in New York, no.
Yeah, that's too ritzy.
Well, although this is our version of it.
This is your version of the Hamptons? In New Hampshire. We have so little coastline in New Hampshire.
It is. If you go up the up north, it would look very much kind of like our mini version of the Hamptons.
Okay. The mini version of the Hamptons. Very good. Okay, so gentlemen, let's take a little dive. I was saying a deep dive. It's not going to be a deep dive. We're relatively shallow sometimes in this program. But let's take a look at how you keep up with the ever-growing changes in social media. First off, do any of you have any coaching programs, or do you have RSS feeds, or how do you keep up with stuff?
John.
It's always John, isn't it?
It is John.
How do you keep up with stuff? I do use RSS feeds. Yes. I have like a whole.
From where? Where are you getting your information?
It's a collection I've developed over time.
Okay, and is this? What about the latest and greatest changes, though?
Well, so it always has updates to the latest and greatest stuff. So it's just a grouping of sites that I've pulled together over time that I tend to grab things from. I've also used AppSumo had a deal a few years ago on a product called Q, and Q would let you go through and it would let you find influencers that maybe you hadn't connected with before. Which I used to do a little bit of posting out of that. Even thought about putting some of my own posts in.
Q, or is it QUE or?
Yeah, I knew you were going to ask me that.
Q. Like from Star Trek.
Q. I think it was QUE and something else.
It wasn't
QUE.
It wasn't just QUE. It was like QUE something.
Okay, so John is a graduate of Q University.
I know that's very helpful.
Yeah, it's been extremely helpful. Thank you for contributing to today's.
But you put me on the spot here. So
you're in a spot. I can see you right now.
I'm in a spot.
Yeah. So, Dr. K, anything that you do to keep abreast of big changes?
No, I don't. Actually.
Well, thus endeth the program for today. No.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I'm on a bunch of different things. I am an early adopter, but not on social media, new social media, or changes or tactics and that sort of thing.
Well,
for one thing,
you do a lot of Instagram, so that's why I'm. I know you do a lot of Instagram. I see your posts. In my feed.
But here's the thing: I only started doing that after it was well established, kind of a thing. Because first of all, many of these things come and go. So again, that would be energy that I don't have to spend on something that is going to go away. It's not on the top of my list. And second, they start in a certain way. Then by the time they find their place and get established, it becomes something else. Like, what is the other one that we were used to do? Clubhouse.
Oh, right? Clubhouse. Yeah.
It started something, but I'm guessing it's now a different beast. Kind of a thing.
I know it has matured. I mean, people are still on Clubhouse and making a lot of great connections. So.
Yeah, I'm sure they're on it. But what I'm saying is, the kind of usage or opportunity or the crowd finds itself and changes from the beginning after a while. So I'm usually later to the game, and when something gets established and all of that. I know there are people out there that they are at the cutting edge and they take advantage of the new opportunities. It's when it comes to social media, it just hasn't been me.
Interesting. Well, so but you have one of the things I was going to mention is that John and I had put together a program. It's not open right now, but it's a group, the Strategic Video Masters. And I was saying that, sometimes you need to collaborate with people, and you need to keep up with things. You find out who's doing what right now and what's working.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's interesting you mentioned about wanting to go with something that's well established. Aren't you afraid that you'll miss out on the advantage of early adopter?
I guess I don't. No, I don't have that fear of missing out when it comes to that. I know it's there, but because I don't know, it's more than being an early adopter. It seems the people who take advantage of the new things are the people that they were already successful and taking advantage of other methods. So this becomes something that they can ride that wave. I don't see people who do not already have a established following gain a new one on a new social media just because it's new. So it has a lot to do with what they have been building so far for a long time. And of course, this is just my uneducated observation. I don't know.
I was going to say something because John and I have been, we have a TikTok coach, for example. I haven't seen Dr. K Von K on TikTok right now, even though, by the way, Tick and Talk both end in K. I mean, that would A-okay.
I think I do have a TikTok account, but I don't get on it.
Oh,
I don't post.
You're missing out. You're missing out on all the stuff that we're creating.
I don't even have the app on my phone.
Oh my gosh. All right. We have to, we're going to just exclude, maybe I can bump Dr. K Von K out of this group and keep him orbiting in space. No, but no, we're not doing that. We do it, live long and prosper. No, it's
yes.
Keep that one. There we go.
And a while ago, you told me about the Wisdom app.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I installed that, and because you told me, but I don't know what is that about and what's going on in there. I haven't opened it much.
Oh, okay. All right.
I got an account, but I haven't used it. So what is that about?
So sometimes people like Dr. K Von K will find out about the latest developments in social media from those with whom they associate.
Yes.
It's true.
How do I catch up with them? How do I stay up to date? By hanging out with you guys.
You just hang out with us. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a curated version of it.
Yeah, we're content curators when it comes to social media platforms. So, John, what's been your experience with something that's, and we're talking about something new? You and I have been in a group coaching program from our friend Sue Zimmerman, and she's changing that whole thing around to become a massive kind of relatively high ticket program. Yes. What's been your experience with doing some things on TikTok? Because I know you had your chickens, you've had a few other things there, and have you found any value in having a coach who keeps you up to date in social media?
I have, because I think the big thing was I always thought that TikTok was the world's most giant waste of time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, until you convinced me otherwise.
Yeah, I had to twist his arm, which is why you don't see his arms in this program. So, oh no, there they are. Okay, they healed over time.
It didn't take that much to twist my arm. I mean, all I had to do is really kind of look at it for a little bit. The other thing I was going to mention too that I look at for trends is Google Alerts. So I do run quite a few Google Alerts on different things to check out different trends of things going on and areas that I follow. Anyways, going back to TikTok.
Yeah.
So no, I think TikTok is going to be a really valuable resource. I mean, we were talking the other day about the fact that they've got more traffic than Google.
2021, they eclipsed Google, the search engine, in terms of actual internet traffic.
Right. And I think the biggest thing is most people look and they go, well, old guys like you can't sing or shuffle dance or, any of that stuff.
What do you mean? I'm a really good dancer, according to most people who have partnered with me.
All right. I haven't seen
couples dancing probably.
I haven't seen you doing TikToks of that. So
hey, I'm not doing those ads, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
I heard something today from our mutual friend Leanna Ling, which was that it's very interesting. Actually, she interviewed somebody about I think his last name was Horowitz. Was it Josh Horowitz? Can't remember, but
that's what's fair.
Anyway, she was mentioning that the greatest number of hours in viewership on TikTok were those who were over 55. Over 55. So I thought to myself, my gosh, that, at least for me, I don't know about you two,
we make the cut.
Audience. if I can get them 55 to 60 or 55 to 63, that's pretty much my audience in terms of people who want to make a big career change, for example, from, say, being in a doctor's office, trapped in the exam room, to where they escape the office, escape the exam room. And so for me, it's just refining the messaging and finding that target and figuring out exactly what those people want. And I'll tell you, weird things. There's some weird things going on in these video platforms. So much so that Instagram, of course, is trying to mimic TikTok in terms of Instagram Reels.
Right.
The Reels. So here's the thing. Reels, TikTok, other things, Reels are being promoted heavily by Instagram because they want to keep people on their platform. And so the days of the static posts, even if static posts, I guess, static posts that are in a carousel are far better than a single static post. But they're pushing people in Instagram, for example, to create much more video content. And some of the users of Instagram have been pushing back. But the chairman of the board, the CEO of Instagram, said, nope, sorry, we're heading more towards video because the trend is so strong towards video.
Yes.
And so keeping up with those trends is sometimes very, very challenging. So I see Dr. Kayvon Kay's skepticism because he's got this chin. Yeah, it's all about the body language today, folks. So Open your eyes, open your mind.
Maybe it's the weightlessness of the space.
It's the weightlessness of space. Yeah, your arms are just sort of floating around. You're trying to hold your head from bobbing back and forth. There we go. John's weightless right now.
Yeah, I'm in my weightless chair.
Exactly, in the weightless chair. So one thing that I do is I have several coaches. And so for me, and I do try to keep, it's not so much, I don't do a feed like John uses, but I do have, I guess I follow certain people whom I've known for several years who are experts in social media, like a Mari Smith, like a Sue Bieserman, who's the Instagram expert, like a number of these different people to try and find out what the latest and greatest. Molly Mahoney, Anika Stewart, any of these people.
Neil Schaefer.
And what?
Neil Schaefer.
Neil Schaefer is just like Neil
Schaefer.
And and it's also important. I feel blessed most of the time that I have a 15-year-old stepson who keeps me apprised of what the latest and greatest stuff are in terms of mostly Instagram Reels and TikTok. But we don't allow him to have TikTok, but he gets them through YouTube because people upload their TikToks to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Clever, very clever. So anyway, so
what's the model?
The model? Well, they're different models. Some people, for example, John and I have a mutual coach who we've studied from before. She uses, I was going to call it the axis of evil. It's really not. It's the axis of engagement is what I'm going to coin the phrase.
Uh-huh.
She uses Instagram, stories, reels, static posts to drive people to YouTube. Not YouTube Shorts, but to drive people to longer YouTube videos.
Is that a CTA?
What's that?
Is that a CTA? Direct CTA, as in come to?
Yeah. You'll have a CTA inside of your social videos, like a TikTok. Usually you want to drive them to something like go to the link in my bio, or go to this website and download such and such a thing, or head over to my YouTube channel and check out the longer version where I go into great detail about blah blah. Whatever the blah, blah, blah is. The blob. John, you have some blah, blah, blahs, don't you?
I think so, yes.
Like RV Business Builders.
I do. I've got that. Yeah, I've got that. And, I was thinking as you were talking about that and just going directly to YouTube, I have to say I think that's a bit of a mistake, because I think that, we don't own YouTube.
Well, that's true.
So I think it's got to be a bit of a combination. You want to catch people where they spend the most time and view the most stuff, but you want to always be trying to get them on a list, bring them back to your website.
Oh, definitely to the list. Yeah.
And that's the mistake that I see a lot of people make. We did a review of a guy's site the other day on his social media. I know you were there when we did that, and you couldn't see anywhere where he was trying to get those people on a list.
Yeah, there's no opt-in. No.
Yeah, there's no opt-ins anywhere. And so, I always see that as kind of the big mistake of social media. It's great to have the conversations with people there and meet them there, but at the end of the day, you've got to find a good place where you can both continue your conversation.
Yeah, I mean, people could shut you down on your YouTube account. They could
Take
take away your Facebook ad account, for example.
Yeah, I don't know who had that happen.
No, I have no idea who ever had that happen.
Only about 1 million people. I mean, it's not just me, and there's no help when that happens, which is another problem. And it's not just Facebook. It's the same is true with a lot of the other platforms. You know, you can't get the help you need when you need it because they don't have a support avenue to get to them. Mm-hmm. So, which I don't know how you run a business without support.
Well, just if you have so many people, if the demand is so incredibly high and nobody leaves, you can have poor support.
So that brings up a question. So, solopreneurs on small businesses.
Yeah.
What is the balance? At one point, do you recommend them to get somebody as a social media manager or agency versus them managing their own ad accounts?
Oh boy. Well, when it comes to ads, that's a whole different. That's Pandora's box, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is kind of.
But I would say
that is my point, because it's a Pandora's box.
Well,
and, business owners cannot learn everything.
No, and it's always good to have somebody who you turn to who's a professional at it. Now, I will tell you, as a caveat, both John and I have done Facebook ads on our own without hiring somebody.
Yeah.
So we've developed a level of expertise, but quite frankly, it's a bit of a time suck. And I'm inclined that as we grow to offload it to somebody else who's an expert in Facebook ads.
Have you guys ever hired anyone?
Of course.
And I mean, do you see a difference in the results with like you doing it yourself versus somebody else do it as far as results goes, not the time saving?
I have had a couple times I've had to get somebody to help me with a particular piece of it that I didn't understand, for instance.
Well, was that with affiliate marketing too, or?
Not so much.
A lot of affiliate marketing.
Yeah, I did a lot of affiliate marketing. Not so much there. Most of that was pretty easy to understand.
Mm-hmm.
But even us, we were going through the ad stuff the other day, and it's all changed.
Yeah,
it's a completely different beast, and that can be very hard to follow. But I do think that you have to have a certain level of expertise with it yourself before you could hire somebody to do it.
Yeah, it's like Cy Sims back in New York.
Yeah,
educated consumer is our best customer.
Exactly.
So that was the clothing guy who had all the highly really high expensive brands, and they sold them at this discount warehouse called Sims. And I always remember that line, where an educated consumer is our best customer.
I know, I used to shop there all the time.
There you go. Me too. So that was like stuck in my head. But I think you do, and we have talked about outsourcing before, but in terms of but I'm a strong believer in having people coach you, or at least be able to deal with people on a Q&A session, because your specific problem may require a little bit of hand-holding or a completely different perspective from somebody. And I think often we get caught up in our own little mental matrix of what we think something is, and it takes somebody else's perception to open our eyes to the possibilities of things.
Yes.
Which is how
all of these complexities, I find myself more and more. I don't do ads now, but if I want to, just not touch it.
But John and I, so in the group that we're working with, one of our big things, and John is super at this, is simplifying. I thought that would appeal to you, Dr. K, is simplifying social media so it becomes easy and actionable, so that you can do it now rather than later.
There were a bunch of keywords in there.
Yeah, exactly.
There were a ton.
It didn't mean much, but they had all the keywords.
Well, no, it is. What do you mean it didn't mean much? I mean, the reality is this.
Yes.
That social media doesn't have to be hard.
Yeah.
Most people think it is, and so they shy away from it. Mm-hmm. And granted, there are all these different updates that occur from time to time, but most of them are small technical changes that may boost your reach by 5% or 10% or something. The idea is, when you're using social media and you're a consultant or a coach or a small business person, you're not looking to become a major influencer with millions of views, and that sort of thing. what you're looking for is a way to reach the people who are potentially your ideal customer. And so I don't know about you, Dr. K, but the question is, so what? I mean, my audience tends to skew older.
Mm-hmm.
How many?
Well, speaking of that, as we were talking about this, are we also including LinkedIn in that whole pool?
Yeah, I would include LinkedIn because, well, although LinkedIn is kind of, we were talking to Dean Way, on a broadcast the other day, or maybe it was the after show. LinkedIn really doesn't do too much to modify or enhance their platform. It usually is up to the people who have third-party apps to make it easier for you to use a LinkedIn.
Right.
Mm-hmm. As far as ads, what about ads on LinkedIn?
I've never used LinkedIn ads. I was told by several people years ago that LinkedIn ads really weren't worth it. You were better off posting. Now, maybe that's changed because that's info that I've heard about LinkedIn from 2 years ago.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews on it. I've heard some people say that LinkedIn ads have changed and they're a little more worthwhile. I knew people who used them in the past and got some value out of that, but I do know that the cost per acquisition was pretty high, and I assume it's only gotten higher over the years. But I haven't done anything lately with it. But I think the real winner with LinkedIn is the fact that you can connect with so many people and actually get them on your list, email them, develop relationships with them through video like we've been doing. I mean, Dean's getting nothing but business from all the videos we've done. So
he should change the name of his live stream to Nothing But Business.
Yeah, really, no kidding.
Nothing but business.
Yeah, he's really done well with the live streams.
Yeah.
At first, it took a while. I mean, everything takes some time to settle in, but once that settled in, he's got a lot of stuff going on now.
Yeah, well, there is a difference too. Then in terms of the people with whom you're connecting on LinkedIn, if you got the right audience, the right folks in your first level of connections, then it's one thing to go live on your personal profile, but if you can get to that magic number that we talked about, which was get to the 150 people liking or following your business page, that seems to open up a whole new world of engagement.
It does.
Yeah. And so, and that was Dean's big thing not too long ago, which was, and we found that all out, which is like, as soon as he got his magic 150 on his business page, Way Creative, boom, things started exploding, and his reach expanded too. Yeah.
Yes. You can start your own newsletter, you can email, you've got live video as an option on LinkedIn.
So that's a business page on LinkedIn with 150.
A business page on LinkedIn. Yeah. So in your case, it would be either Simplify.zone or it would be Profit Finder. So Profit Finder might be the best one on LinkedIn. I don't know.
It might be.
I think so too. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because who doesn't want to find a profit?
Yes,
well,
exactly.
if you're Muhammad, Jesus, or somebody else, maybe you don't want the competition of another prophet.
You just never know.
Oh, yeah, that's another kind of profit.
Oh, okay. I think you should change. Wouldn't it be great? Change the logo with a PH, Profit Finder. Dr. Kayvon K's new spiritual program. Profit Finder.
That would be a twist, wouldn't it?
It would be a twist. And then there's money in there too. So
sell them what they want, give them what they need.
Exactly. I think, and that's an important thing too, because for example, with social media and especially in video, everybody wants to be entertained to some extent. Yeah, they're looking for tips and tricks and strategies and stuff, but they want it packaged into something entertaining. So I mean, if you unfortunately happen to maybe succumb to COVID-19, you want to entertain people. You may feel like crap, but you're still having a good time.
That's right.
That's an obscure example. I don't know who would ever have that. So anyway, but when so John, do you follow people like Mari Smith or others or Neil Schaefer or some of these folks whom we've had associations with? How do you go to their feeds, or what do you do to keep up with things?
Go to their feeds, or I watch when they have lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the biggest thing that I do.
Mm-hmm. I would say also engaging in, if they do have a live event or so, engaging with people or even liking or loving things that they're doing, that gets you noticed. And sometimes I found this to be the case. They give you a little extra help sometimes, maybe within a Facebook Messenger or
More than just a little.
just a little bit. It doesn't. So, but if you treat people like people and you play on the platform, and as I've said before, think of social media as social. You know, you're going to a party. How would you behave at a party?
Yeah,
that's the
Right.
question. You know, if you come up to somebody and you say, "Hey, I've got a new life insurance policy. How much life insurance do you have?" And that's your opening line. You're going to be the a-hole at the party. So
Yeah.
you know,
Do you have time for a 15-minute conversation away from everybody else?
Yeah.
yeah.
Or, hey, let's just skip the coffee and get married.
Yep.
Is that how it works with your wife, John?
No.
Oh, okay. Just check.
That's what Ryan Dice used. That's what Ryan Dice used to say.
Skip the coffee, get married. Well, you do save money in terms of
You don't just get somebody to marry you. You say, "Hey, why don't we get a cup of coffee together?"
Or forever.
Yeah, forever.
It's called the infinite coffee method.
Infinite caffeination.
There you go. Ooh, we could read something from that. The infinite.
Infinite caffeination. Well, actually, we're close. We're close to our 30-minute thing today, and I was just hoping we could give people a few tips and tricks and keeping up with folks in terms of social media updates. I know that, John, you find the sessions that we've had with our mutual coaches to be fairly useful, right? Or do you apply those things, or you just find them entertaining?
Extremely useful. No, I try to apply all of those things.
Well, as an example of the TikTok thing, you had your chickens. You have the brand new chicks. You had 15 of them, was it?
15.
Okay. And you put up those little 15 chickens on TikTok, for example. What was the response?
It was good. I don't remember the numbers.
It was over 700 views on something there was no text. There was nothing particular,
nothing
special about it. But you got a lot of reach.
Chicken people. The chicken people love it.
The chicken people love it.
It's kind of like this, the camping people would love this. So
exactly.
I'll just give you a brief view of my surroundings here.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Campers.
Yeah. See, so
that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact,
are there any kids around? There are no campers and Pampers, are there?
If I stood up, I think you can see the multi-million-dollar houses across the strait over here.
I'm tilted. It's John's Tilt-A-World.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Let me see if I can make you ill.
I think it worked really well
on live stream.
I started at illness, and I'm working my way now towards dizziness. Okay. Especially in space, that first got me.
It's like those movies, that swirl effect.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
My takeaway from this call is that with what I do and my audience, I think I'm going to just focus on LinkedIn and LinkedIn only. As far as posts, connections, networking, advertising, and all of that. Instead of being in multiple different, spread my attention because I'm talking about that part of how much of my own time versus hiring somebody else to do it. If I'm doing it with my own time, I'm just going to focus on LinkedIn.
I would make one suggestion. Because you have followers on Instagram, I would use Instagram to drive people to LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Because you're already there. People are following you. People know, like, and trust you from there. And I would suggest that would be a way to move over. Like just the strategy we talked about earlier, which was Instagram to YouTube. Yeah. Instagram to LinkedIn might work very well for you. Because you'd be surprised how many people on LinkedIn are scrolling through social and want to get a better feel of who you are.
Yeah.
And I don't know that, there is short form video on LinkedIn too. And then there's something about mastering short form content, 15-second, 30-second, 60-second stuff. Think like commercial. There's something about short form video that's a great way to grab people's attention and then send them elsewhere. Or, for example, from within LinkedIn, to grab them on LinkedIn and send them to one of your posts or your newsletters John was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, but it is possible to take your content and syndicate it around.
Yeah.
Which is
we talked about Repurpose.io and other things where you can,
I use Social Bee for my posts. So the ones that you see,
me too.
I just put it on Social Bee and it posts in every place.
Yeah.
So, but I was talking about that active participation, as in networking, talking to people, developing relationships, and maybe advertising. I'm going to focus on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah.
John, what are you focusing on?
Me, it's just video wherever it is. So, all the short form video and YouTube. But that really kind of puts you on all the platforms.
But it was interesting because you made a good point earlier about, you don't want to be stuck only on social. And I think that's really important when you're looking with social media and social videos. Download those suckers and save them somewhere, because if your account is closed and you're booted off a platform, you're going to want to be able to repurpose those. But the most important thing that you mentioned, John, is to use social to gain an email list. That's the key.
Yeah, and then I'd say the number 2 one is to use use your content to gain SEO,
right.
So that you've got a lot more traction and a lot more people seeing your stuff. And if you do have a blog and you do post regularly, your content will stay there longer.
Right.
Significantly.
There's a shift. There's actually a shift now from social and video only to actually, getting transcripts and creating them as blog posts, mainly for SEO.
Yeah. Yep.
Although social signals are sent to the Google.
Everywhere. And even within YouTube.
Yeah.
You get social signals sent.
Yeah. So I think that's about wrapping it up for today. Any other thoughts, gentlemen, before we leave? Are you splashing down today from space, Dr. K, or do you land on legs?
Well, I'm going to start my descent tomorrow afternoon, and landing back in Vancouver late night on Saturday night.
You would think with the speed that you're traveling the Earth, you could be there in seconds.
Well, that's how the schedule works in space now. The clock goes slower.
I see. Okay.
Oh, time is going backwards.
What's up?
Yes, there you go.
He's reversing time in space.
I'm having tea with Doctor Who tomorrow.
Tea with Doctor Who? Who? All right, that's it for this week. Now, by the way, we do know that most of you are watching this on replay. We've seen your comments. We love your comments and your suggestions for future topics. So if you are making comments, please use the hashtag replay, because it's A-OK that we basically pay attention to you. So that's it for this week. We will be back next week, same bad time, same bad channel, full of health and vigor and vim. If it's Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, it's time for the Do It Now show. Why? Because doing it later ain't